Hello everyone, nice to see you on my channel. This video is about the total failure mode within the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System regime. Enjoy watching. First and foremost, please note that within the Polish National Electronic Invoicing regime, we have in total 5 different modes of issuing invoices. There is the online mode, there is the offline 24 mode, the offline unavailability mode, the emergency mode, and the total failure mode. In today's video, we are talking about the total failure mode within the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System. According to the information presented in the manual of the Polish Ministry of Finance regarding the invoicing rules within the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, the total failure mode is introduced in order to enable taxable persons to issue invoices, as I understand, in critical situations, in situations of threat to the whole country, of threat to country's infrastructure. So this will be applicable in serious situations where, as I understand, nothing is working, maybe even internet is not working despite Polish National Electronic Invoicing System. Maybe there is only TV, radio and other media through which the total failure will be announced. When does this mode apply? When it was announced by the Polish Ministry of Finance through public media. In case of offline unavailability mode, which is applicable when the Polish Ministry of Finance carries out service and maintenance work in the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, or in case of offline emergency mode, where the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System is not available due to some error, and this error is being identified and removed, where these both modes are being announced by the Polish Ministry of Finance in the Bulletin of Public Information and Interface Software itself. In case of this mode, total failure mode, the applicability of this mode is being announced by the Polish Ministry of Finance through public media, which should be a broader channel. What is the method of issuing? In general, the method of issuing is the same as before National Electronic Invoicing System. The invoice that is issued is in paper or in electronic form, but it does not have to comply with the official FA3 structure of a invoice issued via the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System. Consequently, this invoice can be issued on paper, in writing. This invoice can be issued on a computer using Microsoft Word and sent to the client via email or handed over in paper form, and so on and so forth. This invoice will never be sent to the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System. So how the invoice is being issued? After the total failure mode is announced by the Polish Ministry of Finance, the taxable person simply issues the invoice in a most comfortable way, namely in writing, on a paper, in Microsoft Word, and so on and so forth. Then this invoice, in the form in which it was prepared, is handed over to the buyer as paper invoice, as an attachment to an email. And there are no specific regulations on this method of delivery of the invoice to the client. And of course, this invoice, as mentioned, is never sent to the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System. So after it was issued and provided to the buyer, no other obligations arise at the side of the entity issuing this invoice, apart of the fact, of course, that this invoice has to be declared. And with respect to the invoice issue date, similarly as before the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System came into force. This issue date is the one which is indicated on the invoice by the seller. Are there any specific deadlines for issuing this invoice? No, in terms of deadlines that were applicable, for example, in case of offline 24 mode, where the taxable person has only 1 day to send the invoice to the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System after it was issued, or in case of offline unavailability mode, where the taxable person has to send the invoice to the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System within 1 working day after the unavailability of the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System ended, or in case of the emergency mode, where the taxable person has 7 working days to send the invoice to the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System after the emergency mode ended. Since within the total failure mode, the invoice is never sent, is never received by the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, such deadlines do not apply. However, statutory deadlines for issuance of invoices will apply, namely, for example, the general rule according to which the invoice is to be issued by the 15th day of the month following the month in which the delivery took place or the advance payment was received, unless, of course, the goods that are delivered or the services that are being performed are subject to specific deadlines for invoice issuance. Then, of course, the taxable person has to follow these specific rules. How does the buyer receive the invoice? Consequently, since the invoices never go to Polish National Electronic Invoicing System and are being used always outside of the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, the buyer receives the invoice always outside of the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, and the date at which he has received the invoice will be the date of the actual invoice received. Are there any QR codes to be indicated on an invoice issued within the total failure mode? No, because again, since this is an invoice that was issued outside of the Polish National Electronic Invoicing System, the requirements regarding the QR codes, which apply in case of the online mode, in case of the offline 24 mode, in case of the offline unavailability and emergency mode, these rules will not apply for invoices issued in case of a total failure mode. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for watching. I hope with this information I was able to provide you with some general overview with an understanding as to how the total failure mode works. I hope it helps you, and I wish you a beautiful day and take care. Bye.